So if you're going to be going for gold, the first thing you can't be is you can't be fat. Failed. You can't be fat, and you can't be unfit. Oh, failed. Right, yeah, you can be fat, you can be unfit, because I'm fat and I'm unfit. So that's the first thing. Second thing you need is big wellies. Big wellies. These wellies start all the way down there, look, there, and they come all the way up to here. You've got to have your big wellies. If you don't have your big wellies, you can't go golding. The next thing you need is stuff. So this is the stuff. Now the most important thing to bring, little pork pies. I've already started on them. If you don't bring your pork pies, you're not going to stay fat and unfit. Then you need one of them. We call that a sieve. But apparently when you're doing golding, that's a classifier. The next thing you need is a gold pan. That's a little baby one, so it couldn't be bothered to bring a big one. So you need a gold pan. Then you need a bucket. You've got to have a bucket. And you need a sluice. That's a little baby sluice. That's pretty much the smallest one that I own. I own 3 different sizes of sluices. That's a little one. I call that my little sluice. I've got one that's a bit bigger. That's the medium sized sluice. And one that's a bit bigger still. I call that one the big sluice. I'm very inventive. That's a looking glass. That's a scoop. And then you need a river. So, oh, sorry, it's not a river, it's a burn. The other thing you need is a pump. It's called, I think it's called a Henderson pump, named after John Smith, who invented it. And the trouble is, I've forgotten my bloody pump. But it's okay, because that's all Dave's kit, and that there is Dave's pump, so I'm going to use Dave's pump. Because Dave is over there somewhere, not pumping. I'm going to nick his pump. And I'll show you how it's done in a bit. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to get in the water, and I find that being in the water helps. Now you'll notice that in the water here, there's these things here. They're called rocks, and that's what the earth is made out of, right? But these rocks aren't very helpful to us. There's a big one there, there's one there, one there, one there. There's rocks here. They're not very helpful to us, so we've got to get the rocks out the way. Back in a bit. So you will now notice that the rocks that were there are no longer there. And that's because I've pulled them up over there. Now you may notice as well, we have the presence of a bucket with a sieve or a classifier over the top of it. That is what we're going to do. Now what I'm going to do is using Dave's pump, because I forgot my pump. Why did I forget my pump, Dave? God knows, normally he says it's because I'm a twat. I'm going to pump that gravel there, out of there, and into there. Along with all the gold there, and then we'll put it through the sluice, and then we'll be rich, and I can retire. Just let me know when you've hit record, Dave. You've hit record. Right. You hold the pump thus. That is the action of it. Kind of a pumping action. Stick it in the gravel, like that. Pull, pump. Pull, pump. Pull, pump. It generally helps if you have it a bit closer to the bucket. But I haven't. I've got bloody nettle in my finger. I hate nettles, but it's Scotland, it's full of this shit. Pull, thumb. Pull, thumb. And as you're doing that, you uncover other rocks. You have to stop doing this, move the rocks, do a bit more pumping, move the rocks, then you sluice. You carry on until you're bored. You can stop recording now, Dave. When you come up into the Highlands, you stand a chance of being accosted by these walking types. They come wandering. He's walked from all the way up there, and in a minute he's going to fuck off down there and leave us alone. Bye bye. Right, anyway, so you've got to set up your sluice. That's the set up sluice, right. Then you've got your bucket of shit, which is there. And you have to carry that down to the sluice, otherwise like you're walking like just a shovel load every time and it takes longer. So if you put your bucket down by your sluice, it makes it a lot quicker. So now I put my bucket, which is that, of gravel, which is that, next to my sluice, which is that. And that's going to save me a lot of walking. And now, what you do is, first off, you make sure there's no bits of crap going into your sluice. So that's that. And then you get one of them trowelly things and you drop it into your sluice. And keep doing that until you've got no gravel left in there. Now the idea is that you've got your sluice set up so the gold's going to collect in these riffles at the top rather than the bigger riffles at the bottom. But if it don't collect in there, it means one of two things. Either A, well, it means one of three things. Either A, you've got your sluice set up wrong. B, there's no fucking gold. Or C, it's in there. So now my bucket's empty. If you look in the top there, you'll see there's no fucking gold. But it might be. There's a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, it's a little bit just sort of like there-ish that might be gold. But now, so you've done that bit, let's see if I can balance this. Right, so now you've got to pick up your sluice. Now you've got to pick up your sluice all level. So you pick it up, and you look at it, and that's a tiny little bit of gold. I'm not going to show you because I can't be bothered. But you then get your sluice and you stand it in your pan, which I already had set up there, and you get your bucket, a little bit of water, and you very gently, making sure your sluice is in the bottom, you're standing in the pan, you very gently wash everything out. And that's definitely a piece of gold because now it's shifted down here. So, you might be asking yourself, why, if he could see the gold in the sluice, did he not just pick it out and put it in his file? And the answer to that is, because. Right, so that'll do, that's clean enough. Which means now, normally you do this with more than like just one bucket of gravel, you stick about 5 or 6 through. Hopefully you can see that we've got what's called concentrate, so now I pan that and get all the lovely gold out. You get some water in the pan, there's far too much water in that pan. You give it a shake, and you see you've got coarse riffles there, smooth riffles there, and nothing around the rest of the pan. So you're giving it a shake, and what you're doing is you're trying to get the gold to settle in the bottom. Now because I'm trying to do this one-handed, this isn't very good. It's not very good at all. But you just give it a shake, there's no magic to it. And you're letting the cons just go out the top. The theory is that the gold's going to settle in the bottom. Every so often, what you do, you let it go out like that, dip it, get some more water, and then you wash it back into the pan. Because the gold may have travelled up those riffles, so you don't want it at the top. So you get some more water in it and you do that. Back in the mow. Right, I'll come over to the other side of the river. Burn, it's a burn. Basically because the light was wrong. So you're left now with just a tiny little bit like this. So what you do, you've got a tiny little bit of water there. You swoop it round, you bring it across. Swoop it round, you bring it across. And the idea is the lighter material is now going to get washed across the pan. And the heavier gold stays on that far edge. Now again, I'm trying to do it one-handed, so I'm not doing this very well at all. So I'm going to turn the video camera off, do it properly, and show you at the end all the gold. Right, so that's it. That's the gold. You can't even bloody see it, can you? So I'm going to try and zoom in. Right. You can see there. Hang on, where's this bit back on? There it is. There's one piece there, one piece there, one piece there, and a bit there, and a bit there. They're tiny, it's flour grade. Flour grade? No, it's not flour grade, it's flour gold. Really, really tiny gold. And that is come down over the last winter. When you get deeper into the river, you get the bigger stuff, but even the bigger stuff ain't big. But that's it, that's what we're going looking for. Right, so to put it into perspective for you, that's my hand. That's a file, and this is the gold that we found yesterday and today so far. It's tiny, it ain't worth doing it. By the time we put the food, the lodgings, the fuel, how much we spend on beer, the whole lot of it, then for me and Dave together, this trip's cost over £1,000, and we're probably going to go home with about 37 pence worth of gold. But the real gold is the friendships found.